This week on Rivertales, we travel to Ironton, Missouri to talk to Wade Buckman, the owner of Arcadia Valley Roasting Company. Next, we'll meet with James Fott of Wild Story Productions to discuss how he formed his production company. At the River campus, we talk to some of the faculty and students about the aerial dance courses offered at SEMO. After, we chat with the Baptist Student Center about their local performers. Lastly, we sit down with Robert Wake to discuss the Wake Foundation, why it was started, and what it means to the veterans. Stay tuned for Rivertales.
My name is Wade Buckman. I am co-owner and head roaster at Arcadia Valley Roasting Company. So coffee roasting is definitely a mixture of art and science. The science aspect of it is you're taking a green coffee bean, which is actually the seed of a coffee cherry, and you're applying heat in a period of time, and it changes that bean. It'll change color, it'll smell, all those chemical changes will occur, but the end result is the whole coffee bean that serves as the base of coffee. And it's a little more expensive because it's hand brewed, but it was something that I tried, and the cup of coffee blew my mind. And that right there was the moment that really did change the trajectory for me, where it sent me into experimenting with different types of brewing methods. It started me down the path of roasting coffee at home, which eventually led to Arcadia Valley Roasting Company. So coffee doing good drives everything that we do. It's been something that we're definitely impacting good. We're doing good just through that aspect, which then allows us to expand on that with the coffee or with the products that we use within our shop. I had seen this presentation through social media from another coffee company that I was doing a project with at the time, and it connected me to this organization, this company, Gold Mountain Coffee Growers. And what they do is they're all about doing social good with what they do. So that falls right in line with what we want to do. And talking to them, he connected us with this farm in Nicaragua, the Jinotega region, which the family is Don Manuel and Yesenia. In this particular farm, we do something to where it's direct trade, meaning we get our beans directly from them. The money that we pay, fair trade is one of those technicalities that it's a certification, but it also costs money. In this fashion, we're actually we're paying a little more, but because of that, it's going directly to this family, and it's been amazing to see over a 4-year span how this money that we're paying is impacting the lives of a family, and how we've seen them be able to purchase a truck for their farm. We've been able to see them expand away just from coffee to be able to ensure that they're able to sustain themselves over the year. We love the fact that we've been able to have established and maintain this relationship for 4 seasons now, to where we've been able to purchase coffee from them, and then that again serves as the coffee that we use here at the shop.
My name is James Fott, and I own a video production company here based in Southeast Missouri called Wild Story Productions. My pursuit of video production started quite a few years ago. I was actually out in the woods shed hunting in the spring and run across a guy that was also doing the same thing. And we got to talking about different things, and I had been involved in some photography things and had started getting into DSLR video, and turkey season was coming up, and in all our talks about, filming and all this, he invited me to come along and film some turkey hunts with him and also turkey hunt. And I went and did that, and the first morning ended up myself killing a turkey with this guy's brother on camera. And once I saw the footage, granted it was on an old tape camera and it was pretty much junk compared to today's standards, but it lit something inside of me that I can't explain. So later that morning I went and filmed, this new friend of mine kill a turkey. And that turned into the next day we did it, and we spent all turkey season doing that. And it then became more of about the camera. By the end of that turkey season, it became more about the camera. Like, what could I do to make shots different? What could I do to bring Hollywood style or mainstream style shots to the hunting industry? So I started looking at some old films that were done like by Stanley Kubrick, and just the interesting way he used to compose shots and pull focus and all of these things really fascinated me. And that just snowballed into learning more about camera tech and learning more about camera technology, and really just turned into this crazy passion to not record hunts anymore, but to capture a story. We started doing more. I started working with a couple of small outdoor TV shows. Finally had the chance to put some footage that I filmed into a show just as a couple of segments in an outdoor show. And once I saw that on TV, I was like, this is real. I can really do this. So working with some of these small shows was really cool and everything, but it doesn't pay the bills. There's not a lot of money in that kind of stuff. So I decided, hey, I've got to do something with my life. I'd been working as an electrician and a few other capacities of contract type work, and decided that I needed to go to nursing school. So I spent 2 years in school, and once I graduated, got a really good paying job, and realized, hey, I only work 3 days a week. What am I going to do with the other 4? I'm going to buy new camera gear. So working as a nurse was great money and everything, and it allowed me to travel a lot. But it got to the point to where I was booking so many freelance gigs that I had to kind of choose. It's either nursing or video production. So early on, kind of when I started making that transition, I had started looking for other ways to make money with my cameras at that time. And one of those ways was to reach out to businesses and shoot commercials, the little promo videos, and try to help them do social media, not necessarily run social media, but help them produce content to put on social media. Because, Facebook now at this time is starting to make a pretty sharp climb into the business world, not just for schools and things like that, but now it's really becoming a good tool to leverage for business. And as we all know now, it's an extremely good tool to leverage for business. So in all of that kind of kept getting busier and busier, and it came a point to where I was on the road headed to Kansas. Actually, I was in Kansas, headed across I-70, I'll never forget it, and was headed west to go film a waterfowl hunt. And I got a phone call that said, hey, did you know you're on the schedule to work? And I'd already made the decision to work PRN at the hospital. Well, they snuck in a day on me that I didn't know about. And I said, I'm in Kansas. I'm 3 days into a 12-day trip. I'm not going to be back 2 days from now. I'm not going to make it. So I made the decision then that I was just going to turn in my resignation. And it was probably one of the most relieving emails I've ever sent, but one of the most scary, because I just literally walked away from a really good career, a really good paying job, to pursue a business that I really didn't know anything about. The small business where it's the mom and pop shop or small town type stuff, that means the most to me. I love when we can produce a video or produce a piece of content for a client and they put it out on social media and then everybody falls in love with it. And seeing success with it is probably one of the most special things you could ever experience. And them saying, thank you, you helped us get 4 new clients this week. Like, that's what we live for. And it's the same with real estate photos and video. When an agent texts me and tells me that, hey, we just sold that listing on such and such road and it sold in 4 days after we did the photos, that means the world to us, because we do the photos to help them market the house to sell the listing for the client. In reality, we're working for a couple different clients, the homeowner and the listing agent, and possibly even the buying agent. They may, have seen the photos and fell in love with the house. So all of that is just very important to me, because I love seeing other people succeed based on what we've been able to help them to do. So I've got a client that I work with on a regular basis, and we were in a recent discussion about producing some commercials for them. And one thing that, he was asking, what does it need to look like, or what does it need to do? And I said, well, you tell me. What is your brand representing? What makes your company go around? And he kind of paused for a minute, and he started naming things like integrity, honesty, hardworking, hometown, small town, things like that, and started to paint this picture of his story. And so by the time we got done with the conversation, I said, look, you just wrote a commercial for yourself, because that's truly what we need to represent in anything we do for you. Is we need to represent those values that are important to you, like honesty, integrity, hardworking. So whatever we produce for somebody, we're truly just trying to tell their story, and that's it.
When I talk to students about coming to Southeast to study dance, I of course talk to them about the basics of our dance program. But they always ask, well, what else do you offer? And what they're asking is, what other opportunities am I going to have besides the traditional ballet, modern, and jazz opportunities that they've had since they were 4? And the biggest one that I can give them is aerial. And their eyes always light up when I mention aerial.
Class is being able to do all the tricks and stuff and learning, because you get to build the strength in your arms, and as dancers we don't really build strength in our arms every day, so it's good to do that before a ballet class or something.
My name is Hilary Peterson, and I'm Associate Professor and Coordinator of Dance for the Conservatory of Theater and Dance here at Southeast Missouri State University. And I teach jazz, modern, and choreography, as well as movement and kinesiology for the dancer, as well as aerial dance. So we are one of, I think, 5 schools in the entire country that have a specific aerial program that has a progression that moves the students from introduction level to the advanced level. So this program that we have here at Southeast Missouri State University in aerial is one of a kind. We started offering an Introduction to Aerial Arts class 2 years ago. And that class is really encompassing of as many of the apparatus as possible. Intro to aerial is like the title states, an introduction to all of the apparatus as well as the basic foundations of aerial skills. Once you have the foundation, then you can get on the apparatus and start building those skills. And so that's what that Intro to Aerial class is. It's a 1-credit course that students can take. It's meant to be a recreationally fun course for the novice who just wants to have a good time and at the same time build a lot of strength, a lot of body awareness, and coordination. Then from there, once students get a handle on the basics and the foundations of aerial, then they can move into Aerial 1. And Aerial 1 is for the student who wants to progress further. Perhaps they want to perform in aerial here while at Southeast, or maybe after graduation they want to be able to continue on with some training. And so Aerial 1 builds on the foundations from Intro to Aerial Arts, and then they start working on more sequencing, and they really get into using the fabric and the rope. They start inverting, so going upside down, which doesn't happen a lot in the intro class, and really just building into those level 1 skills. And then from there, students will be able to go on to Aerial 2, which will be just a continued progression of level 1 skills, and then Aerial 3, which will, once students get to that class, be advanced level skills. It'll be advanced level aerial theory, so really understanding how it's holding you up in the air, not just saying a prayer. And then choreography as well, and really learning how to put steps and skills and movement together to create your own aerial routine. So we would not have the aerial arts program here at Southeast if it were not for Lauren Jones and her husband, Jeff Maurer. They donated to the aerial program, and they are the ones who had the vision for this program.
My name is Lauren K. Jones, and I am an adjunct dance instructor at SEMO, and recently just started the aerial arts program, aerial dance program. When I lived in New York, the only reason I ever even got into aerial was my son was 8 years old, and I made him take gymnastics. And he said, well, if I'm going to take gymnastics, you have to do something too. And there was a lady teaching trapeze. I thought, well, I'll take trapeze class. So I took the trapeze class, and that's kind of where it started. And I was off for a few months, or years actually, until I moved to Cape. And then it just kind of started back up with aerial yoga. And Hilary was one of my first students. And then it just kind of became a really nice, very symbiotic relationship. So she thought it would be a great addition to the dance department. And so we started with a topics in dance program, I believe, spring of 2017, and then started performing every year, starting with the spring of 2018. I enjoy watching the students accomplish things they didn't think they could ever do. It's really fun to watch. Oddly enough, not all dancers make good aerialists, and not all aerialists make good dancers either. So I have a nice mix of dance and musical theater in the class. And what's really nice is to know that they're excited that they can take a skill out in the world that not very many people have, that they've learned here. And they just get really excited when they can do something that they're like, I couldn't do that last week. And now this week they can do it, and they're just so, the face lights up. And I really enjoy that. That's a lot of fun for me.
Students can get aerial training at independent studios, but never can they, especially in this area, get credit for that. And so I think that really makes it unique and allows our students in dance, theater, and then just the general university population to just learn some new skills and build strength, have some fun in college. That's a good thing. But also it benefits the students because they can get another skill that then they can put on their resume that will then mean careers post-graduation. And that's what, Southeast is all about, career readiness, and we're about that as well here in the dance program. And the aerial program is a fundamental component of that, and really building these students' skills so that they can then use them after they graduate, while they're here, building them and using them, but then using them out in the world as a professional, on cruise ships, in movies, in other commercial venues. That's what the aerial program will do for them, and that is why it is so unique around the nation.
My name's Nathan Meese, and I work at the Baptist Student Center. We're a nonprofit student ministry here that we've essentially created a hospitality ministry. The Student Center itself is a safe haven and a place for students to hang out and work on different projects and such. We looked around at Cape and realized that all of the music venues in Cape, the places to go see local bands, are down by the river in bars. Having some connections and friends that were minors, that were musicians, realized that they have a tough time putting a show together sometimes. And then that means that college students that are minors are also having trouble going to shows. Talked specifically with the violin dragoness, plays violin, busks downtown a lot, and she's kind of limited to busking often because she is a minor and can't play in a bar.
My name is Logan Chapman. I am the vocalist and guitar player for Osmosis.
And I'm Taylor Bryant. I play the bass guitar and I do backup vocals.
So me and the drummer Travis actually started this band about 2 years ago. We had a 3-piece called Slim Virginia. Well, a few things happened since then. We had another band called Slow Ocean, and then we met Taylor. I met Taylor through going to a open mic at Ragsdale's.
Hi, I'm Mary Ellen Kirk. I'm a singer-songwriter and artist I'm originally from Nashville, Tennessee. I have put out 5 records, and I tour, and I love playing house concerts and intimate kind of listening spaces. I started my music career fairly young. When I was 17, I just started trying to do music full time. I graduated early from high school. I didn't go to university for music. It was kind of a school of life kind of thing. Just go for it and learn as you go. There were venues that would say, no, you can't play here because you're not 18 or you're not 21. I played at South by Southwest when I was 19 or 20, and I remember I got booked for a gig for like a showcase, and then I got to the venue and they wouldn't let me into my own show that I had booked for a couple months, because they're like, no, you're not 21, we're not allowed to let you in here. They eventually, after enough coercing, decided to let me in, but the stuff like that it comes up when you're a young person trying to make it in a creative field. So
that was the hard part. Whenever I first started playing, I had a fake ID.
I ended up landing on house concerts. It just works so well, and I'm able to make a good living playing in people's living rooms and backyards, and it's really this special, intimate kind of listening opportunity and like creative exchange that you have with the audience that it gives you a lot of freedom. It has given me a lot of freedom to just be able to create a venue anywhere I go. I think the chapel is a really great example of a venue like I was just talking about, where it's kind of a creative venue out of any kind of space. We're creating this intimate listening venue that otherwise would have just been sitting there.
There's a lot of these venues that do allow all ages have a lot of red tape that you have to go through just to book a weekend day for a show.
There are a lot of my friends who can't get into bars. They basically jumped right on the wagon tonight, and they were like, "Hey, can you get in here? Can you get in here if you're under 21?" And I said, "Yeah, man." You can meet somebody who says, "I'm not into movies." You can meet somebody who says, "I don't read books," or something like that. But there's nobody who's not interested in music. There's nobody who doesn't really connect with some type of music that's out there.
Building this community around an art or some kind of centerpiece it's inspiring to people. Then having this opportunity for artists or bands that are just starting out to be able to have a performance space and for people to come and listen, and the more kind of listening venues that we have in the world like that, the better, I think.
I was behind a machine gun on top of the roof, and I heard a mortar, which is a bomb, come out of a tube. And when it came out of the tube, it landed on the roof where we were at, and it bounced and didn't explode. And then I heard a second one come out of the tube, and when I heard the second one come out, I just remember a bright flash and feeling like my whole body was on fire. It had broke my nose, it had tore my frontal lobe, and it had really peppered me with a lot of shrapnel. It had damaged my right ankle and blew out my left knee. And I knew I was in bad shape. I had said goodbye to my son in my own way because I thought I was dying. I was in the hospital at Fort Leonard Wood for 13 months in recovery. And during the time of my time in the hospital, I seen a lot of events for veterans, but they I found out they had to pay for their own way. And they ended up forming the Wake Foundation in 2010. The Wake Foundation is an organization, nonprofit, that sponsors different, mostly outdoor events for injured and disabled veterans throughout the United States. We want to do everything we can to help these men and women know people care about them and that there's life, that they can continue. These men and women gave so much for us to have the freedom we do, and I think they deserve the best. So we try to give that to them. We started doing this in 2010, and it has become a very large organization, and which was named after me because I was awarded the Purple Heart in 2004. And when I first started it started small, and I just kept working at it. But now we are absolutely just exploding and becoming bigger and bigger. And I figure that within the next 5 years we'll be all over the United States. I did not intend for it to be small. I didn't know how it was all going to happen, but it's happened. And we're very thankful for all of our sponsors. We're very thankful for all of our volunteers. We're thankful for anything that anybody does to help us push this cause forward. I'll never receive a paycheck from my foundation. I'll always do it for free, period. That's the only way that I can look at people and honestly say, I do what I do because I love to do it.
Rivertales is a production by the Southeast Missouri State University TV and Film Department.